I don't know if I can do this. We have to, there's no other way. But what about the consequences? We'll face them. You lied to me. I had no choice. There's always a choice. You betrayed me. You wouldn't understand. This is your fault. My fault. You're the one who ruined everything. I was trying to fix it by lying. I knew you couldn't stay away. You left me no choice, always blaming me. You started this. I knew you couldn't stay away. You left me no choice, always blaming me. You started this. I don't know if I can do this. We have to, there's no other way. But what about the consequences? We'll face them.
The moment that tests your strength when one sentence tries to break you, the power of a public insult. Let me tell you something. Sometimes it only takes one sentence to shake your entire body. One sentence, one comment, one sharp line spoken in front of others, and suddenly your heart pounds. Your throat tightens. Your hands feel cold. Public insults are not just words. They are tests. Tests of your control. Tests of your strength. Tests of who you really are. Anyone can stay calm when everything is peaceful. But who are you when someone tries to cut you down in front of others? That is where strength shows up. A public insult tries to do one thing, make you smaller. It tries to reduce your value in the eyes of others. But listen carefully. No sentence has the power to shrink you unless you hand that power over. If you let one sentence define you, it will. If you stand firm, it breaks instead of you. The real question is not what they said. The real question is who you decide to be when they say it. Have you ever been disrespected in your own space? The silent burn we pretend doesn't hurt. Have you ever been disrespected in your own space? In your home, at your table, in a place where you should feel safe. It hits differently there, doesn't it? Because it feels personal. It feels like someone stepped into your world and tried to challenge your word. And what do most people do? They pretend it doesn't hurt. They smile. They stay quiet. They say, it's fine. But inside, there's a silent burn. A fire that keeps replaying the moment over and over again. Let me tell you something. Pretending you're not hurt does not make you strong. Understanding you're hurt does not. Even strong people feel pain. Even confident people feel the sting of disrespect. The difference is this. Strong people don't let the pain control their response. You can feel it without feeding it. You can notice it without exploding because of it. Pain is human. Losing control is optional. The table goes quiet. Humiliation, shock, and the war inside your chest. There's always a moment after the words are spoken. Silence. The air changes. The room feels heavy. You feel every eye on you, waiting, watching, and inside your chest, a war begins. One voice says, defend yourself. Say something. Don't let that slide. Another voice says, stay calm. Don't lose yourself. Humiliation is powerful because it makes you feel exposed. Shock is powerful because it catches you off guard. But the real battle is not outside. It is inside. This is where many people lose. Not because of what was said, but because they let the emotion take over. Think about it. How many relationships have been damaged because someone reacted in the heat of one moment? One sentence can start a fire. One reaction can burn everything down. But one calm response can stop the fire before it spreads. The war inside your chest decides the outcome, not the words. Respect is not won by volume. It is commanded by self-worth. Some people think respect comes from raising their voice, from shouting louder, from dominating the room. That is not respect. That is noise. Real respect does not come from volume. It comes from self-worth. If you know who you are, you don't need to scream it. If you are secure in your value, you don't need to prove it. Look at people who truly carry strength. They speak calmly. They move slowly. They don't rush to defend themselves. Why? Because they don't feel threatened by every comment. When you start shouting to defend yourself, you send one message, I feel attacked. But when you stay calm, You send a different message. I know who I am. And when you know who you are, nobody can take that from you with a sentence. Self-worth is quiet, but it is powerful. React or rise. The choice that defines your power. In one critical moment, in that moment, you always have two options. React or rise. Reacting is easy. It is quick. It is emotional. It feels strong for a few seconds, but later, regret follows. Rising is harder. It requires control. It requires thought. It requires strength. If you react without thinking, you lose control. And when you lose control, you lose power. If you rise above the moment, you gain something far greater, respect for yourself. Ask yourself this. When someone tries to pull you down, will you step into the mud with them? Or will you stand tall and refuse to shrink? Your power is not in what you say back. Your power is in what you choose not to say. In one critical moment, you decide your level. React and stay small. Rise and become uncheckable. That choice is always yours. Outline 2. Why words hurt more. Then we admit, words are not air, they are arrows. The hidden damage we pretend doesn't exist. Let me tell you something. Words are not air, they are arrows. Air passes by. Arrows pierce. And some words do not just touch your ears, they sink into your heart. People say, it's just words. But if that were true, why do you remember certain sentences years later? Why does your chest tighten when you replay them? The damage is often quiet. No bruise, no scar you can see. But inside, something shifts. A careless sentence from a parent, a harsh comment from a partner, a comparison made in public. These moments leave marks. And the worst part? We pretend they don't. Single quotes. We act strong. We laugh it off. But deep down, those arrows sit there. If you don't remove them. They shape how you see yourself. Words are seeds. What you let in will grow within. Words are seeds. What you plant is what you harvest. If someone calls you weak again and again, and you accept it, that seed grows. If someone says you are not enough, and you replay it daily, that seed grows too. Soon, you start acting from that belief. You hesitate. You doubt. You shrink. But here's the truth. Not every seed deserves soil. You get to choose what grows inside you. You get to decide which words take root. Think about this. If someone throws trash into your yard, do you plant flowers around it? No. You remove it. Do the same with harmful words. Let encouragement grow. Let truth grow. But do not water lies, because what grows inside you will shape how you live outside. Why comparison cuts so deep. The attack on identity and self-worth. Comparison hurts because it attacks identity. When someone says, you are not like her, what they are really saying is, who you are is not enough. That hits deep. You are not just being judged on an action. You are being measured as a person. Comparison steals focus from your strengths and shines light only on what you lack. It ignores your journey. It ignores your effort. It ignores your growth. And slowly, you begin to question yourself. Am I lacking? Am I behind? Am I less? But listen carefully. You were never meant to be someone else. An apple tree does not compete with an orange tree. Each grows in its own season. The pain comes when you forget that your path is different. And different does not mean less. Why do we let someone else's opinion define our value? Why does someone else's opinion hold so much weight? Why do we hand over control of our worth to people who did not build us? Think about it. They did not wake up early with you. They did not fight your battles. They did not carry your struggles. Yet their words can shake your confidence in seconds. Why? Because we look outward for approval instead of inward for strength. We want to be seen. We want to be accepted. That is human. But when your value depends on someone else's opinion, you live on unstable ground. Today, they praise you. Tomorrow, they question you. and your mood rises and falls with them, that is not strength. That is dependence. Your value must be rooted deeper than opinions. If you don't decide what you are worth, someone else will. Ego, pride, and the craving for approval, the triggers that make words sting. Let's be honest. Words sting because they hit something sensitive. Sometimes it is pride. Sometimes it is the desire to look good. Sometimes it is the need to be seen as capable. When someone challenges that image, it feels like an attack. But here is a powerful truth. If a comment shakes you deeply, it may have touched an insecurity you haven't healed. That is not weakness. That is awareness. Instead of asking, how dare they say that? Ask, why did that hurt so much? Growth begins there. If you depend on others to constantly approve of you, you will always be at risk. One negative comment can ruin your day. But when you know your strengths and your limits, outside words lose their power. They become background noise. Approval makes you fragile. Self-worth makes criticism noise. If your strength depends on praise, you will break easily because praise can disappear. But when your worth is built from within, outside voices lose volume. You don't collapse every time someone questions you. You don't rush to defend every comment. You stand steady, not because words don't matter, but because you have decided which words matter. Approval makes you fragile. Self-worth makes you steady. The trap of proving yourself, the urge to defend yourself instantly. Why silence feels so hard when someone questions you. What is your first instinct? To defend, to explain, to correct. Silence feels uncomfortable. It feels like weakness. It feels like surrender, but sometimes silence is strength. The urge to defend yourself instantly comes from fear. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of looking small. Fear of losing respect. So you rush. You speak fast. You argue hard, but quick reactions often create bigger problems. Let me tell you something. Not every statement requires your response. Sometimes the strongest move is to pause. Because when you control your response, you control the direction of the moment. Why prove yourself to someone who already chose not to see you? Here's a hard question. Why prove yourself to someone who already decided not to see your value? If a person has made up their mind, your explanations will not change it. Your effort will not convince them. You can show them your work, your sacrifice, your heart, and still they may refuse to see. So why exhaust yourself trying to win approval from someone determined to doubt you? Is like running on a treadmill. You move, but you don't go anywhere. Not everyone deserves front row access to your effort. Some people watch with closed eyes, and you cannot force someone to see who refuses to look. Explaining yourself over and over, the exhaustion of fighting to be understood. Have you ever explained yourself again and again, hoping this time they will understand? It is tiring. You repeat your reasons. You repeat your actions. You repeat your heart. And still, they question you. At some point, you must ask yourself, am I seeking understanding or am I chasing approval? There is a difference. Healthy people listen once and try to understand. But if someone keeps twisting your words, you will never win. Explaining yourself endlessly drains your energy. It steals your peace. You do not need to write a full report to justify your existence. Sometimes one clear sentence is enough. And if they still refuse to understand, that is their choice, not your failure. Pouring water into a broken bucket. The futility of seeking validation from the wrong people, trying to prove yourself to the wrong person, is like pouring water into a broken bucket. No matter how much you pour, it never fills. You give effort, you give time, you give explanations, and still they say it's not enough because the issue was never your effort. The issue is their lens. If someone is committed to seeing you as less, they will ignore your strengths. Stop wasting water. Direct your energy where it can grow something real. The right people do not require endless proof. They see your effort. They respect your growth. Pouring into places that cannot hold your worth. Stop chasing applause from those committed to misunderstanding you. Some people clap only when you fail. They watch closely, not to support you, but to confirm their doubts. Why? Chase their approval? Why bend yourself to fit their expectations? You cannot win over someone who enjoys misunderstanding you. Instead of shrinking to satisfy them, stand firm in who you are. Not everyone will cheer for you. And that is fine. You're not here to perform for everyone. You are here to live fully and grow honestly. Let those who refuse to see you stay blind. Keep moving forward. Argue and shrink. Stand firm and expand. You do not need permission to be enough. When you argue constantly to prove your worth, you shrink. You lower yourself into endless debates. You trade your peace for small victories. But when you stand firm without needing to convince everyone, you grow. You expand. You realize something powerful. You do not need permission to be enough. Not from family, not from friends, not from anyone. You were enough before the insult. You were enough after it. Stand in that truth and let your life speak louder than your defense ever could. The power of emotional discipline. Approximately 700 words total. Strength is not loud. It is controlled and calculated. Many people think strength is volume. They think power is raising your voice, speaking over others, proving a point with force. That is not strength. That is noise. Real strength is controlled. It is steady. It does not rush. It does not panic. Look at people who carry true power. They move with calm steps. They speak with measured words. They do not explode at every challenge. Anyone can shout. Few can stay steady. If you lose control every time someone pushes you, then they control you. Strength is not about how loud you respond. It is about how well you manage yourself when tested. Control is power. What emotional discipline really means when pressure hits. Emotional discipline is not about having no feelings. It is about managing them. When pressure hits, your heart beats faster, your thoughts race, your pride feels attacked. That is natural. But discipline means you do not let emotion drive the car. You feel it, you notice it, but you choose your response carefully. Think about a driver in heavy rain. The storm may be strong, but the driver holds the wheel steady. As the same. Pressure will come, disrespect will come, hard words will come, but if you grip the wheel of your response, you decide the direction. Without discipline, emotions control you. With discipline, you control the moment. Maturity is measured by your reaction, not your emotion. Everyone feels anger. Everyone feels hurt. That is not immaturity. What shows maturity is what you do next. Do you explode? Do you insult back? Do you drag the moment into something bigger? Or do you pause and think? Children react. Adults respond. The difference is simple but powerful. A mature person understands that one uncontrolled reaction can undo years of respect. You are not judged by your feelings. You are judged by your actions. So the next time emotion rises, remember this. Your reaction is your real identity. Feel deeply. Respond wisely. That is growth. Who controls your temper? You or the trigger? Ask yourself this honestly. Who controls your temper? You or the trigger? If someone can push one button and change your mood instantly, then they hold power over you. That should bother you, because no one should have that much control over your peace. When you allow others to dictate your emotions, you give away your strength. You must reach a place where not every comment deserves access to your energy. Triggers exist, but you choose whether to react. You can say, not today. You can say, I will not let this control me. When you master your temper, you master your life. Anger leads to regret. Wisdom leads to self-respect. Endure feels powerful in the moment. It feels strong. It feels justified. It feels like you are defending yourself. But what happens after? Regret, broken. Relationships, harsh words you cannot take back. Moments you wish you could redo. Anger burns fast, but regret lingers. Wisdom moves slower. It asks questions. It considers outcomes. Wisdom says, will this matter tomorrow? Wisdom says, is this worth the damage? When you choose wisdom over anger, you protect your self-respect. You walk away knowing you handled it well. And that feeling lasts longer than any heated response ever could. Pause, breathe, assess. The 3-second rule that saves relationships. And reputation, let me give you something practical. Breathe, assess. 3 seconds can change everything before you speak. Pause. Before you react, breathe. Before you decide, assess. 3 seconds feels small, but it creates space between emotion and action. In those seconds, you ask yourself, what will this response create? Will it solve or worsen? Many friendships have been damaged by instant reactions. Many families have been divided by words spoken too quickly. 3 seconds can save relationships. 3 seconds can protect your name. Control begins in small pauses. Practice it daily. Not just in big moments, in small ones too, because discipline is built before the storm arrives. Silence is not weakness. Sometimes it is the loudest statement in the room. Silence makes many people uncomfortable. They think if you do not respond, you have lost. But silence can be powerful. When you refuse to argue, you show control. When you refuse to match negativity, you show maturity. Silence says, I do not need to fight every battle. It creates space. It creates tension. It makes others reflect. Sometimes the strongest message is the one you do not speak. You do not need to answer every insult. You do not need to defend every opinion. Your calm presence can say more than 1,000 words. Silence is not weakness. Respect is not negotiated. It is modeled. Respect begins in the mirror. How you see yourself sets the standard. Respect does not start with others. It starts with you. How you see yourself shapes how others treat you. If you doubt your worth, it shows. If you feel small inside, it leaks into your posture, your voice, your choices. But when you carry yourself with quiet confidence, people feel it. You set the standard by how you think about yourself when no one is watching. If you constantly criticize yourself, you teach others to do the same. Look in the mirror and ask, do I believe I deserve respect? Because the answer to that question shapes everything else. If you don't respect yourself, why should anyone else? This is tough, but necessary. If you speak badly about yourself, accept poor treatment, and stay silent when boundaries are crossed, what message are you sending? You're teaching others what you allow. Respect is not something you beg for. It is something you live. When you treat your time as valuable, others start to value it. When you speak clearly and calmly, others listen. Differently. If you don't respect yourself, why should anyone else? It begins with small choices, saying no when needed. Walking away when required, protecting your peace without guilt. Self-respect is the foundation. Without it, everything shakes. Your body language speaks first. What is your saying? Before you say a word, your body speaks, your posture, your eye contact, your tone. Do you stand tall or do you shrink? Do you maintain eye contact or do you look away quickly? People read these signals instantly. If you avoid eye contact and speak softly when challenged, others sense hesitation. But when you stand upright, breathe steadily, and speak clearly, you communicate strength without aggression. Practice this. Walk into rooms with your head up. Speak slowly. Do not rush your words. Confidence is not loud. It is steady. Your body language can either invite respect or weaken your presence. Choose carefully. You Teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate this. Truth changes everything. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. If you laugh off disrespect repeatedly, it continues. If you ignore harmful comments without setting limits, they repeat. People test boundaries. Not always on purpose. Sometimes unconsciously, but when you calmly say, that is not okay, you draw a line, and lines protect you. You are not responsible for someone else's behavior, but you are responsible for what you allow. Stop tolerating what drains you. Start protecting what builds you. What have you been allowing, and what message has that sent? Take a moment and reflect. What have you been allowing? Interruptions, disrespectful jokes, dismissive comments? Every time you allow something without response, you send a message. You say, this is acceptable. But is it? Sometimes we avoid speaking up because we want peace. But silent acceptance often creates deeper problems. Peace without boundaries is fragile. Real peace requires clarity. Ask yourself, what standard am I setting through my silence? Because your silence teaches others how far they can go. Tolerance invites disrespect. Calm boundaries. Shut doors quietly if you keep tolerating poor treatment. It grows. But when you set a calm boundary, something shifts. You do not need anger. You do not need threats. You just need clarity, a simple statement, a steady voice, direct eye contact. I am not comfortable with that. That is enough. Calm boundaries shut doors quietly. They do not create chaos. They create order. When people realize you will not tolerate disrespect, most adjust, and if they do not, distance becomes your protection. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters. They keep your peace intact. Calm, clear, firm. Model the strength you want reflected back to you. Remember these 3 words. Calm, clear, firm, emotional, not aggressive, not harsh. Calm in your tone, clear in your message, firm in your stance. When you model strength this way, others begin to mirror it. You do not need to demand respect loudly. You live it. Over time, people adjust to your standard because you raised it. Model the behavior you expect. Live the standard you want returned, and watch how your world begins to respond differently, breaking the battleship. Comparison curse the sting of being measured against someone else. Why comparison hurts so deep there is a special kind of pain that comes from being compared. Not corrected, not guided. Compared. When someone says, why can't you be more like them? It feels like who you are is not enough. That sting runs deep because it questions your identity. It suggests that your effort, your personality, your way of doing things is somehow less. And the worst part, it often comes from people close to you. Comparison turns life into a contest. You never signed up for. It shifts focus from growth to rivalry. And slowly, you stop seeing your strengths because you are too busy staring at someone else's highlight. That is why it hurts. It attacks the core of who you believe you are. Comparison is a thief. How it steals joy, confidence, and identity. Comparison is a thief. It steals joy by making you blind to your progress. It steals confidence by magnifying your flaws. It steals identity by pushing you to copy someone else's path. Think about social media. You see someone traveling, succeeding, smiling, and suddenly your normal day feels small, but you are comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's best moments. That is unfair. When compared constantly, nothing feels enough. Not your work, not your growth, not your life. Instead of asking, how far have I come? You ask, why am I not there yet? And in that shift, gratitude disappears. Comparison robs you quietly. If you let it stay, it will empty you slowly. Generational expectations and family pressure, the weight of living in someone else's shadow. Sometimes comparison comes from family. You should be more like your brother. Your cousin achieved this at your age. These words carry weight because they come from people whose approval feels important. Generational pressure adds another layer. Parents want you to succeed. Elders want you to match a standard, but when expectations turn into comparison, it becomes heavy. You begin living in someone else's shadow. You make choices not from passion, but from pressure. And over time, you lose touch with what you truly want. Respect your family. Learn from them. But do not disappear inside their expectations. You were not born to be a repeat of someone else's story. You were born with your own path. Why compete in a story that was never yours to begin with? Let me ask you something. Why compete in a story that was never yours? If someone else is praised for their talent, does that reduce yours? If someone else walks faster, does that mean you must run? No. Life is not a single lane road. It is a wide field. When you compete in someone else's lane, you lose focus on your direction. You start chasing goals that do not even fit you. That creates stress. That creates confusion. Instead, ask yourself, what is my lane? What are my strengths? What pace works for me? Stop racing in tracks that do not match your shoes. Your story deserves your full attention. You are not a copy, you are an original. With your own assignment, you are not a copy. You are not a backup version of someone else. You are an original. An original has unique strengths, unique struggles, unique timing. Trying to imitate someone else may get you short-term approval, but it will cost you your identity. Look at great leaders, artists, thinkers. They were not copies. They were different. And at first, that difference was questioned, but over time, it became their strength. Do not shrink your uniqueness to fit someone else's mold. Your assignment is personal. No one else can complete it the way you can. Own that. Stand in that. Grow in that. Chasing approval breeds insecurity. Competing with yesterday builds growth. When you chase approval, you become insecure because approval changes. One day you're appraised. The next day you're questioned. But when you compete with yesterday's version of yourself, something powerful happens. You grow steadily. Instead of asking, am I better than them? You ask, am I better than I was? That question leads to progress. Be better than yesterday. Not better than her. Not better than him. Just better than you were. That is growth that lasts. The chair moment. When you decide who you are, approximately 750 words total, the chair moves back. The second that separates reaction from authority, there is a moment when the chair moves back. A small sound, a small motion, but it represents something bigger. It represents a decision. In that second, you stand between reaction and control. Many people react instantly. Words fly, voices rise, but when you pause before standing, you create distance between emotion and action. That distance is power. It shows you are not ruled by impulse. The chair moving back is not about anger. It is about awareness. It is the second where you decide who will lead, your feelings or your values. And that second changes everything. In that pause, a decision is made. Who are you when disrespected? In the pause, you ask yourself a silent question. Who am I in this moment? Anyone can be kind when respected, but who are you when disrespected? Do you mirror the behavior you dislike? Or do you hold your standard? That decision defines your character more than any speech ever could. When pressure hits, masks fall. You cannot fake calm under stress for long. So use that pause wisely. Choose the version of yourself you want to become, because in that pause, you are shaping your future self. Pressure reveals identity. Fire does not destroy gold. It refines it. Pressure reveals who you are. Think about gold. Fire does not destroy it. It removes impurities. Hard moments do the same. When someone challenges you publicly, When emotions rise, your true level shows. Do you break, or do you steady yourself? Challenges are not sent to crush you. They expose where you need growth. Instead of fearing pressure, use it. Let it refine you. Each difficult moment can strengthen your control, sharpen your thinking, and deepen your patience. Fire is uncomfortable, but it can make you stronger if you let it. Path 1. Emotional explosion. The cost of letting anger lead. There's always path 1. The emotional explosion. You raise your voice. You fire back. You release everything at once. It feels powerful for a moment. But what follows? Damaged trust, hurt feelings, regret. Anger speaks fast, but it rarely builds anything lasting. It may win the moment, but it can lose the relationship. And once words are spoken, you cannot take them back. Ask yourself, is this reaction worth the long-term cost? Because emotional explosions leave marks. And those marks are not easily erased. Path 2. Calm authority, the power of controlled strength. Then there's path 2. Calm strength. You speak slowly. You choose your words, or you choose silence. You do not match chaos with chaos. That takes more strength than shouting ever will. When you respond calmly, people feel the difference. Your control shifts the energy in the room. You do not lower yourself. You raise the standard. Calm strength does not mean weakness. It means you are in control of yourself, and self-control is real power. Every reaction has a ripple. The consequences you carry beyond the moment. Every reaction creates a ripple. Like a stone thrown in water, the impact spreads. One angry response can change how people see you. One calm response can build respect. That last. Think beyond the moment. How will this affect tomorrow? Next week? Next year? Short-term emotion can create long-term damage, or short-term control can create long-term strength. The ripple always moves outward. Choose carefully what you release. Because once the ripple begins, you cannot stop it. This is your moment. This is your test. This is your standard. Every challenge is a test, not of your talent, not of your status, of your character. This is your moment. This is your test. This is your standard. In these seconds, you decide who you are becoming. Do not wait for perfect conditions to practice strength. Strength is built in hard moments. When the next test comes, remember this. Stand steady, choose wisely, and let your response reflect the level you are rising to. Boundaries. Without bitterness, strength. Without hate. How to set boundaries without poisoning your heart. Setting a boundary is not an act of anger. It is an act of care for yourself. Many people think boundaries must be harsh. They believe saying no requires hostility. That is not true. You can protect your space and still remain kind. You can refuse what hurts you without attacking the person offering it. Boundaries are not weapons. They are lines that define what is acceptable. Imagine a garden. The fence around it does not hate the outside world. It simply protects what is inside. Your peace is like that garden. You deserve to protect it, but protection does not require bitterness. You can speak firmly. You can be clear. Yet your heart can remain clean. That is strength. Strength without hate keeps you whole. You can be kind and still be firm. Stop confusing niceness with weakness. Many people confuse niceness with strength. They think saying yes to everything makes them good. But kindness without boundaries becomes self-neglect. If you always say yes, you give away your time and energy. You become tired. You feel drained. That is not kindness. True kindness begins with respect for yourself. When you are healthy and steady, you can give more to others. Being firm does not mean being rude. It means being clear. If something is not acceptable, you say so. You do it without anger. You do it without disrespect. Firmness protects relationships. It sets expectations. People know where the line is. That clarity prevents confusion and hurt. Can you protect your peace without attacking theirs? Here is a powerful question. Can you protect your peace without attacking someone else? The answer must be yes. Protection does not require offense. If someone crosses a boundary, you can respond calmly. You can state what is not acceptable. You do not need to insult. You do not need to escalate. Think of it like closing a door. You close the door to what hurts you. You do not need to shout at the person outside. The door itself sends the message. Peace is valuable. It deserves protection. But protection done with calmness keeps your heart steady. Revenge feeds the ego. Resolution protects the future. Revenge feels powerful in the moment. It whispers that striking back will make things right. But revenge rarely solves anything. It often creates new problems. Words spoken in anger cannot be taken back. Actions driven by hurt can damage relationships. That is why resolution matters. Resolution focuses on the future. It asks, how can this be handled in a way that protects peace? It does not aim to punish. It aims to solve. Revenge feeds the desire to win. Resolution seeks understanding and boundaries. One destroys, the other builds. Choose the path that protects what matters. A fence protects a garden. It doesn't declare war on the neighbor. Think again about the garden. The fence around it is not an enemy. It does not declare war on the world. It simply defines space. It keeps the garden safe so it can grow. Boundaries work the same way. They are not statements of hatred. They are statements of self-respect. You are saying, this is where I stand. You are not attacking anyone. You are protecting what is important. When people understand boundaries, relationships become clearer. Respect grows. Misunderstandings decrease. A fence protects the garden. It does not create enemies. No drama. No shouting. No disrespect. Say it once. Say it clear. And stand on it. Boundaries do not require drama. You do not need long arguments. You do not need shouting. You simply need clarity. Say it once. Say it clearly. Then stand on it. If something is not acceptable, state that. If the boundary is crossed again, respond the same way. Calm consistency teaches people how to treat you. It removes confusion. It removes emotional chaos. Standing firm does not mean being harsh. It means being steady. No drama. No shouting. No disrespect. Clarity is enough. Becoming the standard, not the victim. From defense to growth. Stop surviving the moment and start elevating from it. Life will bring difficult moments, that is certain. Some moments feel unfair. Some moments hurt. But the question is not how to survive forever. The question is how to rise. Many people remain stuck in defense. They replay the past. They focus on what happened. That keeps them trapped. Instead, focus on what you can become. Hard moments can teach strength. They can teach perspective. They can shape character. Defense keeps you looking backward. Elevation moves you forward. Victims replay the scene. Leaders rewrite the meaning. A victim mindset revisits pain again and again. It asks why it happened. It focuses on injustice. While understanding pain is important, replaying it does not change it. Leaders do something different. They rewrite the meaning. They ask, what can I learn? They turn experience into wisdom. They do not deny hurt. They transform it. That transformation is powerful. It shifts focus from suffering to possibility. You are not defined by what happened. You are defined by what you do next. Will this moment define you or refine you? This question changes perspective. Will this moment define you, or will it refine you? Definition means being stuck. It means letting one experience decide your identity. Refinement means growth. It means becoming stronger through challenge. Hard moments can shape you in positive ways. They can teach patience. They can teach empathy. They can teach wisdom. The choice belongs to you. You cannot control every event, but you can control how you respond. Inner elevation, rising above the noise. Instead of wrestling with it, noise surrounds life, opinions, criticism, comparisons. If you wrestle with every voice, you will become exhausted. Inner elevation is different. It means rising above unnecessary conflict. It means focusing on what matters. You do not need to argue with every opinion. You do not need to prove yourself to every critic. Steady confidence speaks louder than constant defense. When you rise above noise, you protect your energy. You focus on growth. Eagles don't argue with crows. They simply fly higher. This image teaches a lesson. Eagles do not waste energy arguing with crows. They fly higher. The difference in perspective is clear. Crows remain on the ground. Eagles see farther. The lesson is simple. Do not engage in conflicts that drain you. Do not lower yourself to unnecessary battles. Rise. Focus on your path. Focus on your purpose. Flying higher is not about superiority. It is about clarity. Rise higher. Rise stronger. Rise wiser. Turn the story into strength. Every story can become strength. Hard experiences do not have to destroy you. They can teach lessons. They can build resilience. Rising higher means refusing to stay stuck. Rising stronger means learning from challenges. Rising wiser means making better choices moving forward. Your story is not finished. It is being written. You decide. The next chapter. Turn experience into strength. Turn struggle into wisdom. Rise. Final charge. Choose your legacy in every reaction. The insult was never the power. Your response was, words can hurt. That is true. But the power of words depends on response. An insult is a sentence. It becomes significant only if you allow it to control you. Response determines meaning. If you react with anger, the moment escalates. If you respond with calmness, the moment loses power. Your legacy is shaped by how you handle difficulty. Strength is revealed in response. What will you tolerate from this day forward? This question demands honesty. What will you tolerate? Disrespect? Constant criticism? Boundaries matter because tolerance teaches lessons. If you tolerate everything, people learn that limits do not exist. If you set clear standards, respect becomes possible. This is not about perfection. It is about clarity. Decide what is acceptable. Communicate it. Stand on it. Tolerance without boundaries creates confusion. Boundaries create understanding. Who do you become when pressure hits? Your ego or your standard? Pressure reveals character. When difficulty arrives, do you react from ego or do you respond from standard? Ego demands victory in every argument. Standard seeks dignity and control. Ego says, I must win. Standard says, I will handle this wisely. The difference matters. Ego often creates regret. Standard builds respect. Choose the version of yourself you want to represent. You. Control your reaction. You control your standard. You control your legacy. This truth is powerful. You cannot control every event. Life will bring challenges, but you control response. Reaction shapes outcomes. Standard shapes reputation. Legacy is built through choices. Each moment offers a decision. React in anger or respond with control. Lower the standard or uphold it. Your legacy is written by these choices. Don't shrink. Don't shout. Stand. Push the chair back in authority and walk as the standard in moments of conflict. You have options. You can shrink and disappear. You can shout and escalate, or you can stand. Standing does not mean aggression. It means confidence. It means control. Imagine pushing the chair back, a small action, but it symbolizes decision. You are not surrendering. You are choosing dignity. Walk as the standard. Not in pride, not in anger, in calm strength. That is leadership. That is legacy.